Okay, hi guys. So today we'll be doing the firewall task. This is a very interesting and lovely task, and it's very simple. Let's go through the task. We have this question. It says, "What is a firewall?" A firewall is both a hardware or a software security system. So it could be hardware or it could be software. The two type of firewall we have: the network and host-based firewall. And then what is the two main function? The main function of a firewall to filter incoming and outgoing network traffic. To filter incoming TCP traffic, yeah. So what is the main function of a firewall? To filter incoming, outgoing network traffic. I think they asked that twice. What is a firewall? And then what are the two main type of firewall? Incoming and outgoing firewall, network and host based. I think they asked the same question over and over again. So I think we're right. And let me see into my ALX system. All right, and then let's get ready for it. So so back to the task. Let me unlock the advanced task. So write the stuff. So basically, firewall will allow a particular IP to come into your server, right? It does that, and also it allows the opening and closing of a particular port on your server. Also, it allows requests to be sent out of the server to the client. So you can do a firewall. So okay, don't send requests to outside of to this particular IP or these IPs. These are the Nigerian IP cannot come into your server, only United States IP. So that's why when you use VPN sometimes to work on some server, okay, because the server is not seeing your IP as a Nigerian IP. All right. So let's see. Okay. So the first task, let me create this directory and I'll copy it and then make directory, paste it, and then I'll cd into it. Okay, so I've done that, and then I would echo this into my readme.md. So I'll create my readme. I think I pressed the wrong thing. Alright, good. So the next thing I'm going to do, let me create this file. So I think we'll just create the file and write the command. So shebang user binary, right? Um, env bash, and then this one will be what we are doing. Yes. So come here and say let's install your file. So they said you should install UFW firewall and set up a few rules on the web O1. So that's what we want to do. So to install it, once we enter our server, I want to write a bash script that will do this. So you said you should feel free to do it on load balancer and web O2, but it won't be checked. So we then do sudo, right? So we'll first install it. You can do sudo apt update. Yeah, to update the apps that you want to use. So we are not using apt-get, we're using apt and we'll say apt install and we want it to automatically answer yes for us. And I'll say you should install UFW. That'll be the first thing. So after we've installed the firewall, we want to set the default for incoming and outgoing. So I'll do sudo UFW. The default for the UFW should that it should allow everything that is coming out of the server. So I'll say allow outgoing, And then the same thing, sorry. So, and then default is that it should deny every IP or every port coming in. So deny incoming. So you should allow outgoing and then deny incoming. So after that, note that our the firewall, um once we enable it like this, we will not be able to SSH because it is not giving it permission to it's not opening the port 22 in which SSH uses to connect to our server. So we have to make sure we don't enable it yet. So we enable after we are done with our configuration. Okay. So the next thing we'll do is we want to allow SSH first. Right, first. So we'll do sudo UFW first. Every time you have to use you notice UFW comes almost all the time you want to write a command. Sudo UFW, and then we say allow. We can say 22, we can say SSH. So SSH is 22. We could also do SSH here. So anyone that you prefer. So we do sudo, and then we were told that we should allow HTTPS and HTTP. So UFW allow HTTPS is 443, and the same thing UFW allow 80, that's HTTP. So after this, we can then enable our firewall. So we can use echo y and then sudo uf. So you have to put UFW and then enable. So this echo y, just make it have the it's not really compulsory. I'm not sure if this is compulsory, but we can also always do without this. Sudo UFW enable should work. I think so. So if it doesn't work, we'll try the echo y. I think this should be fine. So once we're done with this, we need to just go and set it up on our um, on our on our server. So let me change the mode. 7550. Okay, good. So I would have loved to send the file to the server and then just run the script there, but I want to explain some things, right? So that's why I won't be following that step. Or maybe I should do that first. So I want to move this file to my server Ubuntu at and then the home. So it has moved our SSH into my web 01. Sorry. So okay, so we are there and we have the file here. So let me just cut the file so you see what we're doing. So first we want to install it, set default, deny incoming, allow all this guy, and enable the firewall. Okay, so let me do it one by one because I want to actually explain these guys for you guys to see what's going on. Copy and paste. So we first install the firewall. Note that if you enable before you allow 22, you will not be able to log in into your server again. So you have to be careful. So it has installed. So I'll do sudo. If I do sudo UFW status, you see that it is inactive yet. So it's not active yet. So I can then say sudo ufw default. It should allow everything that is going outside, right? Sudo ufw default allow outgoing. Default outgoing change to allow. Be sure to update. Okay, so it has worked. So I'll do sudo ufw default deny incoming. So every port coming in, we've denied it. And still note that we the status is that it's still inactive. So the next thing is that we'll allow ufw sudo sorry ufw have to come first. Ufw allow port 22, and then so it has updated, so we'll allow port 80 and also allow port 443. So it's allowed for IP address version 6 as well, as you can see, and the normal version. Okay, so allow 443, so it has allowed, and then what else? So I think we're good with that. So we haven't enabled it yet. So after that, we can then sudo ufw enable. It said command me. So this is the why we are passing to it that we need for the stuff to work that was passing. So this is why we need that echo y into it. So we need to say yes, and then firewall is active and enabled. So if we check the status now of the firewall, we see that it is enabled. Okay, so and then we'll see all the enabled configuration that we did, that we allowed all this any IP that is coming through port 80 is going to allow any IP that is coming through 22. So it's going to allow all these things, and we are done with the first one. So I just need to update. So let me exit this now, and I need to update my script and passing that yes to it. So I hope you understand this. So we'll do echo y into this. So we're done with this, and then git add, git commit ufw install and config, and then we can push it. So if that works, so we're still waiting for this guy to push. Okay, that's pushed, and then we'll check it. Good. Sorry. So the next one, let's see if that works. So the next one is that we would want to firewall can not only filter requests, they can also forward them. So whenever someone is trying to configure your web one so that it will redirect every port 8080. So if someone is trying to connect via port 8080, it will redirect them to port 80. So firewall can help you do the redirection as well. So your answer file should be a copy of the ufw configuration file that will be modified. So to do this, it has to be done in the configuration file of ufw, and what we'll do is we'll go back to our OSSH into our web 01. Sorry, web. What did I press? I think I pressed rubbish. So let's see if this one has worked, if it's still loading in my network. So I think I need to get a new this guy. Yeah, so let me use this one. Okay, so I'll sit into it like system OX11, no OX what? OX13. Okay, good. All right. So, let me create this file. Let me touch it. So I've touched that file, and let me check on this guy again. Still checking. So maybe our network, or it's just taking time. So now we need to SSH into our web 01 to configure it to forward 8080 to 80, and that's just what we want to do. So in order to do that, we'll go into, let me just vi into the configuration file directly. So the configuration file is in etc ufw, and then it should be in default. Is it default? Let me see. It should be in before rules. Yeah, before dot rules. So before rules. So we just have to add the redirection first. If you put it here, you might have some errors. So what we'll do is we'll come here, and I would give it a space, and I'll say forwarding configuration for ports 8080 to 80. Simple. So remove this, and then I'll say I want to, so all this NAT, that's network address forwarding, and then I'll come down and I'll put this, and I'll say pre-routing. Pre-routing should accept all at 0 to 0, and then -a, and then pre-routing again, pre-routing -p, TCP -the port, and then the port 8080 should be redirected to port 80. So pre-routing -p TCP, so it should, the port 8080 should be redirected to port 80. So that's the major part, this part, port 8080. So pre-routing -p TCP. So we're using TCP connection, and like that. So the next thing is to commit it. Hey, I hope this thing has not disconnected. Okay. The next thing is to commit what we've done, and I would save this. Okay, now that I've saved it, let me just cut it. Let me cut it. And here is going to say so cut. Okay, good. So we want to paste this into our file. So I'll copy this, and then control copy, and then I will exit it and vi my one and paste it there. So I think we're good, and git add, git commit port forwarding using UFW firewall, and I'll push it. So we did that as well, and I think that will be all for that. Is this one still checking? Okay, so let me just reload the page and recheck. So we are done, and I just want to recheck and see if it will work on time. Okay, still checking and still checking. So basically, okay, we have something to fix here. This one, it means, let me just recheck it. This sign is means it's not configured properly. Oh, I think we didn't finish up. We need to do something. SSH web. Oh, we need to restart our firewall, which I didn't do. So that's why we had this error. Okay. Um, but this one we should be done by now. We didn't restart our firewall. So I would do SSH, sorry, sudo service ufw restart. So it has worked, and let me try this. So the configuration worked. So I think this one is actually taking serious time, and this one is faster. So I think this one we should get the answer as soon as possible. What's going on? We're supposed to, okay, it's still running. So it's supposed to work actually. So I don't know what's wrong now. So with that, we should be good, and that'll be all for now. If I encounter any error, I will let you know. I will let you know. I'm not sure this thing is running properly. I'll need to reload and recheck. So this thing is taking too much of our time. See that it's still loading. Those ones that it was bringing was false results. So I think we did what we need to do. So anyway, I'll let you guys know. See you in the next one.